What started out as the little search engine that could has turned into an internet colossus. And today, Google is celebrating 10 years since it went public. And in the process, it has made thousands of those early investors into millionaires. Scott Peterson is here with more on this. If I had a penny for every time journalists use Google, I'd be a trillionaire, not a millionaire.
Yes,
it's definitely a tool that a lot of us in this industry use. But Google has always gone its own way. Even the way it became public was unusual, right?
You know, and it's so, it's so taken for granted now that it's actually become its own verb, you know, to Google, Googling. It's like Kleenex, it's like Skidoo, and there's not a lot of companies that can make that claim, and it's yet 10 years ago today, August 19, 2004, that it got its initial public offering through a Dutch auction, which is sort of an unusual way for them to raise money. But if we take a look at that, you would have made 1,000% on your money. I guess if you had a penny every time somebody told you that, in hindsight, you'd be a millionaire as well. But take a look at this chart here. This gives you an idea of just the record-breaking, records that Google has done since that day one, August 9, 2004. And there you can see it now up in the neighborhood of about $600. And along that way, you can see all the big ones. In 2007, when they took over YouTube at $1.6 billion, everyone thought that was a lot of money. DoubleClick at 3.1. They had T-Mobile in 2009. That's the first generation of the Android cell phones, and Motorola just a couple of years ago at $12.5 billion. So along the way, just this clunking machinery of taking up all these big, swallowing these big companies, and now the colossus that it is today, Google itself.
And worth almost $400 billion today. That is just staggering, given that it's just Google. It's like it's in the computer. It's not a mine. It's not a car. It's not.
I mean, back it was like a library. Remember, they were taking all those patents. They were buying books or taking the books anyways and putting them online, and everyone thought that was going to be it for this company.
So how do they keep coming up with new ideas?
Well, by attracting new people, by making big gambles, by having this owner's manual saying "do no evil." That the co-founders are just attracting the brightest people to the industry. And on the topic of how to keep growing a company, for example, this is Larry Page, one of the co-founders. This is how he answered that answer. This is not a boring quote by any means, but saying incrementalization leads to irrelevance over time, especially in technology, because change tends to be revolutionary, not evolutionary. You might say, what the heck does that mean? But whatever it is, it's smart, and it's attracting smart people, and it's breaking the mold, and this is why it's attracting new people and new ways of doing things, and just saying that we don't want to be ordinary, and hence you got to go with that.
Although that makes revolutionary, that's a little scary, because you think about what could happen in the next 10 years, or what if Google gets grumpy and develops a mind of its own?
Well, it already has developed a mind of its own. I mean, think about Skynet from Terminator 2, when all these machines start self-actualizing, or even a Big Brother concept here, because look what Google's got going on for the next 10 years as far as where they might go. You know, the EU has got this right to be forgotten, that once you make your appearance on Google, it's hard to get you off, and so they want to there's all kinds of worries that Google has become too big. That might be anti-competitive. They got the Project Glass. They took over that home thermostat company that monitors the temperature in your home. A lot of people saying, why the heck do they want to do that? Smoke detectors. And so this thing could end the driverless cars, and never mind drones. And so this company is like putting out its feelers for everywhere, and they will be at the forefront, no doubt, of wherever this thing called the internet is going.
Can't even imagine what it'll be like in 10 years from now. But we do know what the markets are doing right now.
We do right now. Why they're doing it is another question, but we know what they're doing right now, and they are up. And they're liking some numbers coming out of the U.S. U.S. CPI numbers up about 1.9%. That's their inflation rate. Similar to what's going on here in Canada, which is pretty lackluster. U.S. building permits, however, up 8%, triple what was expected. So this is another impetus for another round of buying today. London is up 31 points. Most of Europe is positive. Dow futures up 43. NASDAQ up 9. That bodes well for a positive TSX opening. The Canadian dollar a little bit softer this morning. Oil up 42 cents, and gold also climbing $3.50 per ounce.
Thanks, Scott.
The Market Update is brought to you by IBM. See what the world's making today.